What's up, y'all? I'm Black Talent Sport, and in today's video, it's going to be as a result of a special request from a viewer on one of my other social media platforms. And that viewer requested that I do a video on how to drive the Explorers in manual mode. Right? So basically, this video may have to be separated in either two videos or in two separate parts. And the reason for that is because I'm tuned and that viewer's Explorer is not tuned. And there are some, very key differences in driving in manual mode, tuned versus untuned, and basically relates to the amount of time it takes the transmission to actually shift tuned versus non-tuned. So stick around for the how to drive in manual mode video. Now, I also want to remind you guys, if you haven't already, please hit that like button, okay? A little blue thing down there, smash that like button. It really helps out my channel, and it also helps you, helps YouTube bring videos that you like to watch with similar content to you, okay? And also, if you also haven't, I would like for you to hit the subscribe button, all right? Hit the notification bell so that you're notified when I come out with these videos. So thank you very much. Step 1, put the transmission in sport mode. Step 2, pull the left paddle. Now you're in manual mode. Now, as a rule of thumb, you want to upshift between 2.5 to 3,500 RPMs, and then you want to downshift when it gets down to 2,000 RPM. Now, for on ramps and off ramps, tuned or not, I normally take them in third gear, or if it's a really tight one or slow turning one, second gear. Usually on my exit, got to step on it. Usually when I'm up to highway speeds, let me close the windows. Usually when I'm up to highway speeds, I typically stick to 4th and 5th. All of that is 4th. Unless speeds get up there, but typically either during cat and mouse or just maintaining highway speeds. 4th gear is really all you need, unless it opens up, just pull it. I can say what speed that is, but not necessary. Not necessary. Now, in terms of shift times, very important. And right now I'm just going to focus on the non-tuned. There is a significant delay between shifts. You pull the paddle, it's going to be a delay. Now that can be very challenging to deal with, especially if you're driving spiritedly. But if you're driving efficiently, if you're not really having too much throttle input, let's say 20%, throttle input and down, like maybe even 30, but let's focus on the lower end. You have to compensate for the time the transmission is going to take to shift into the next gear. I learned that, you know, so I was able to compensate the time. I don't know the milliseconds or whatever, but I remember remembering how long it's going to take, and then I would shift. I think it was like just after, like say if I wanted to shift at 3,000 RPM, I'd pull it around 3.5, and then by the time it bogs down, I'll be at 3,000 RPM. So for the non-tuned, you have to learn the timing of the shifts. You know, as a rule of thumb, as I should have previously mentioned, for upshifts during fuel efficient driving, I usually don't go above 3,500 RPM. Between 2.5 to 3.5 is the fuel efficient way of upshifting. Downshifting, I usually downshift if the RPMs on decel down to about 2,000 RPMs. I'll downshift. All right. There really isn't much to learning how to drive this in manual, other than putting it in sport mode, pulling the paddle to make sure that you're in manual mode, and then just learning how to match revs. You know, if you know how to drive a manual transmission, you are at an advantage. If you don't know how to drive a manual transmission, but you want to learn how to paddle shift in your Explorer, the best thing that I could tell you to do is drive around in sport mode. You put it in sport mode and then drive around and pay attention to when it shifts, because that's how I learned when it's, you know, when I should shift. And then I started doing it, and it was good. So just pay attention. Put it in sport mode. Pay attention to what RPM the transmission changed the gears, right? What RPM the transmission downshifts, and then try it. Plain and simple, just try it. There is going to be a scenario, which I don't remember this too much before I was tuned, but I believe it is the same, but just in case it's not. When you're driving in manual mode, you know, you pretty much have a manual transmission. If you're not tuned, you will have to try this, because I don't remember 100%. Let's say you're driving, you're in third gear, right? And you know, you start braking. Then this is in manual mode. You start braking. You will have to downshift to, you know, keep the RPMs up there. All right. Say if you're in a braking situation, but you're not coming to a stop, when you go to get back on the gas, you may have to downshift. The transmission is not going to downshift for you. Okay? So, real quick, I'll just do a very quick explanation of this. No one behind me right now. So, all right, I'm on the brakes. Transmission is not shifting. I have to shift. Okay? Now you also want to be on the gas when you are upshifting. Okay, the transmission operates under pressure. It needs throttle input for you to transfer smoothly, for you to shift gears smoothly. Because if you come off the gas, then you upshift, you're going to notice a clunking or a hesitation. It's going to change gears, but it needs pressure. It needs throttle input. So make sure you are upshifting when you are on the gas. All right. Now for downshifts, you are obviously in decel. You're decelerating, so you don't need. Of course, you don't need to be in the gas. All right. So you go and you're decelerating. You want to downshift? Now you can get on the gas again. Police. Oh man. Now for this segment, I'm only going to focus on the tune. If you're tuned, your shift times are way better, way quicker, but it has a lot to do with your throttle input. I have the gear head tune, and the shift times have gotten way faster. But that's also depending upon my throttle input. If I'm shifting on the gas and I got like let's say 20% throttle, any between 20% and less, then the transmission is going to slip in the gear just like it would a manual transmission. It's just going to ease it in real nice. Like right now, I'm at a little below 3,000 RPM. I'm going to upshift to fifth. It just slips it in. I'm going to come down to fourth, right? But I'm going to get on it now. The traffic just built up, so I had to slow that. But anything, you're on the gas 30% and more, you're going to get a pretty firm shift, an appropriately firm shift. So the tune is sensitive in that sense that it knows, okay, you want a gear change. So it really, I like to say it bangs it, but it's a firm, you're gonna get a firm gear change. Anything above 30%. Sometimes it's so fast and violent, it shakes the transmission a bit. You know?
Thank you guys for watching. Please remember to smash that like button, hit subscribe, and the notification bell to be notified when I come out with the next video. Also, if you'd like to buy some merch, you can look for my Teespring listing in the description below, and also in my cover photo, and also the Patreon link. Please remember to have a blessed day, and peace out.